I want to hear from any of the ladies if they enjoy choking on a D. You know what I mean with a D. Because when I used to work as an escort, the men were always very respectful, okay? But many of them had this fantasy or this desire, which they were free to express their desires. I encouraged that. They wanted to see how deep, you know, I could take their D. And some of them, I think I've made a video about this before, like years ago when I hooked up with this guy, he could only come if the woman choked on his D. And I remember trying to do it because he was so sweet to me and I was trying to please him, but it hurt my throat. It doesn't feel good in my throat. And, it always got me to thinking like, I'd never done that before. I was married 25 years. I had boyfriends in high school and college. I never came across guys wanting to stick it down my throat. That's just weird to me. But I think it comes from watching a lot of porn. I've been curious about this because it's the most respectful of men, but that's what turns them on. They want a woman to spit on their D and they want her to choke on it. Now, they're not going to choke the woman. They wouldn't do it if I didn't like it, but that's what they wanted. That's what turned them on. And then sometimes I would say, do you want me to spit on it? Just I was curious because I was always raised not to spit, and I don't want anyone spitting on me. Do not spit on my privates, please. That is just disgusting. But they want a woman to spit on it. And a lot of guys would be like, no, that does nothing for me. And some of them were like, yeah, spit on it. So I really, really think it came from the porn. I think it's the single guys who are not married. Okay, it's usually the single guys, they're not married, they're watching a lot of porn because they're not having sex with their wife at all. They don't have a wife or a girlfriend. And that's what they see. And then that's what they imprint on. They think it's hot, but it's not. It's really sick. I mean, just imagine shoving a carrot down the throat of your cat or your dog or your infant. Like, imagine going on a date with a woman and shoving a carrot down her throat. Like, that's sick. Now, I get the idea of a guy wanting his penis to be like this powerful thing, but why does it have to cause pain? Choking someone, it's just weird to me. It seems violent and abusive and like a form of DV or SA. And it's part of the sickness of porn. So I got really curious about it. I don't ever watch porn, but I got really curious because I was on Twitter and I came across this director, a female director called Erica Lust, Lust. I'm sure it's not her real last name. And I actually subscribed to that porn site. I only watched it that one day. I think I'm never probably going to log on to it again. But I was very curious because she has real couples on there. And I watched the one on the Cunnilingus and the one on the Fellatio. And the one where the woman was giving her husband a blowjob, first of all, she was kind of a big woman. She was so beautiful. And she gave him this most beautiful blowjob with a lot of eye contact. She never once choked on his D. She never once stuck it all the way back down her throat. Not once. And I was like, this is porn. There's no choking on a D. And this is a real couple. It was very sensual. And she used her mouth and she used her hand some of the time too. But I have watched men stroking themselves, and they do not usually use their hand all the way down. They will usually just use their hand around the top part and do this kind of a motion. Um, so, ladies, here's some advice I have for you if you don't want to choke on a D. First of all, I want you to know that it's violent and abusive, and guys who ask for that are, there's something wrong with them. They've been ruined by watching porn and they have lost any kind of sensation or empathy for your mouth or for your body or for your pleasure. And if you want to do it, fine, you go for it. But I think that women will only do it if they're pressured by the guy, or if they were abused as a child, or if they saw it in porn. Like, I can't imagine anyone wanting to, like, yeah, I want to choke on something. Yeah, that turns me on. That's just a sickness, in my opinion, that has perpetrated the sexual scene. But here's what you can say, okay, is you just take it as far as you comfortably can and say, oh my gosh, it's just too big for my mouth. That's what you tell the guy, okay? And they loved hearing that. They love hearing that it's too big, and it is too big for your mouth. If it has to go down your throat, it's too big. Likewise, if you're having intercourse with a guy and it hurts because he's too long, just tell him you can only go in with the top 3 inches because you're too big. They love hearing that. So that's how you keep them from wanting to pound you violently and perform DV and SA on you. Frankly, I think that's very abusive. People have to be able to enjoy themselves sexually without having to dissociate in their body or endure pain. And some of what these guys want in porn is painful to the woman. Another thing I want to say, when guys watch that kind of porn, they should be able to tell. And most guys that I've talked to about this can tell, oh my God, I can tell the woman doesn't like that, or this doesn't turn me on, or I can see the woman doesn't like that. So immediately my cock goes limp. I can't even watch this anymore, because they actually have empathy. But if you don't have empathy, or you just see the woman as an object to be rammed, then you're gonna that might just turn you on. So I would be very wary of guys who actually cannot even tell that the woman is not enjoying herself. um so that's what I want to say. You do not have to do anything. When you get a guy like that as a date, or as a lover, or as a husband or something, just consider that there's nothing wrong with you for not liking it. There's something wrong with him for wanting to hurt you during sex. And that sex can be very enjoyable without abusing somebody's throat, or causing them pain, or giving them hemorrhoids, you know? That's the sickness that porn has created. Uh, and I think the women that do the deep throating, I think they were all sexually abused. Most of the women in the sex industry were sexually abused, and so they're dissociated, and they're just performing, or they need to feel pain to feel anything at all. So it's been a long journey back from me trying to, I mean, on one hand, what we all saw in high school or college was this kind of stuff, sex looks like this, from porn, and then also wanting to please our partners. But what if our partners were damaged from watching porn? It's not our responsibility to cater to their damaged brains, and their desensitized brains, and their desensitized penises, frankly. So I just want to invite people back to pleasure. um yeah, you do not have to choke on a D. If a guy wants you to choke on a D, just tell him it's too big, can't take it that deep. If he needs that, he's not willing to stop watching porn and fix that. um I could see why you wouldn't want to have sex with a guy like that, frankly. That's all I want to say in this video. Thank you for watching.